Hi Data Fam. Today we are going to understand data pivoting in Tableau using the Makeover Monday internet usage dataset and build a dashboard that looks like the one on your screen. Here on the left, we have a Sankey by income and region. The size of the connections define the number of countries. And on the right, we have a bump chart by the countries. I've dialed in an interactive dashboard action so that when we select a particular income group, we get to see only those specific income groups in the bump chart on the right. The connections to these income groups and the regions can also be doubled down using the same action filter. Same with the regions. But before we get started, let's understand the data. Column A and B are the country name and country code, and then column E all the way up to column AL are the different years in the data. When we bring this data into Tableau, you can see that those columns render as measures. Now, Tableau is a columnar aggregator. If we look into the raw data, we will see that the data set is wide. Each of these years are a separate column. Analysis of such data is hard because ideally, Tableau being a columnar aggregator, you want all this data to be in one column. All of these years, instead of being separate columns, it would be best if we could have them in one column, and the second column could be the values of those respective years. How do we arrive at that? How can we create that kind of a data structure? There are a couple of options. One is writing a custom SQL, and I strongly suggest that you stay away from that. In Tableau, custom SQLs are not the most performance savvy. Instead, I would suggest you right click on all that data, use the transform option, and then pivot. As soon as you hit that pivot option, you would see that there is a pivot field name and a pivot field value. When I drag the pivot field name to rows, you would see that each of those years in the data set have now become one column with different years showing up as rows in the data. And the specific values corresponding to the years are showing up as pivot values. Let's now bring in the count of rows. You see there are 266 rows for each year. That's because there are 266 different marks, 266 different countries in our data set. So each of these years have 266 countries associated with them. A different way of representing that data would be now to take these years to the columns by country, each representing one value. If I were to take now the count of rows to the color, you will see there is a one number, which signifies the lowest granularity of the data or the uniqueness of the data. Each value in the text field is the internet usage as a percentage. Hope with this you're able to understand how we went from a data that's wide to a narrowed but deep columnar data set. Pivoting the data is the answer from Tableau. Here, that data, after I pivoted, I dragged in the metadata of countries, which has additional information, prepared a relationship using the country code. Once I prepared that relationship, the metadata country shows up and the region field, the income group, are the two columns that I intend to use in relationship with my actual data. How do I build this Sankey? Go to a new sheet, add extension, Sankey, open, drag income group to the level, region to the level, right click, drag country code into details, choose count distinct, and then drop that count distinct over link. Sankey is now done. Bump chart is easy. Duplicate the pivot name, click on the type of field, choose date, rename field to year. Right click and drag year, choose continuous, pivot field value to internet usage, right click and drag it to rows, choose average. Then drop country code, country name, region into the details. Add quick table calculation, rank. Edit quick table calculation, choose specific dimension, tick country code, region, country name, and untick year. This will ensure that we rank each of the country code name region by the years. Right click on the axis, edit axis, say reverse. Coming back to the Sankey, I want to ensure that my color coding is consistent across both these charts. Under color palette, I want to choose colorblind. Go back to the bump chart, drop income group to color. Ensure my income group color legend matches with the income group color legend of the Sankey. Click on a new dashboard, drag in a horizontal container under the title, get rid of the tiled container, drag my two charts into the sheet. Use the fixed data size. I typically use a 1400 by 800 pixel dashboard. Add the filter action. Validate that everything's working as expected. And here you have a fully functioning workbook which focuses on preparing the data using the pivot capability of Tableau, Sankey chart, and a bump chart. Hope you find this helpful.